The next thing we're going to do is make the bricks for the castle. First thing you need to decide is how tall you want your bricks to be. Usually people choose between 1/2 of an inch and 1 inch. So I'm going to do 1/2 of an inch, and I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to have my ruler on this center line here. And I'm just going to make a mark every 1/2 inch. If you're doing 2 stories, just worry about the first story first. Okay, if you end up with a really tiny brick up top, I would usually just erase that mark and then create just a larger brick. So add the small brick onto the bigger one that's right below it. Surprisingly, most of the time that's not an issue though. If you've already created your tower and you have a tower in the center, just kind of find where that center line would have been to make your marks. Alright, now you are going to connect that mark that you made to the vanishing point on your left. This is where a lot of people run into problems. What they do is they get started and they don't pay attention to where their ruler is, and it's a lot of the times not on the vanishing point. So make sure your ruler has to be on that mark that you made as well as the vanishing point. It should not just be going straight across. So do this whole side. Okay, before you go ahead and do the other side, please double check to make sure that your marks go from that point to the vanishing point. It's kind of like connect the dots. We're going to connect here, there, to there, and keep going. Okay? I'm going to do the other side. When you have a door or a window, all you have to do is just make sure that you skip over that. You don't want to draw inside of that. Going to be like that. So the right side's going to be exactly the same. Okay, so once you have all the lines on both sides going to the vanishing point, you need to make the lines that are vertical. So the first thing you need to do is kind of decide how far apart you want them, and just draw it on the top level on one side. When you draw them, they're going to gradually get smaller and smaller as they go off into the distance. Those lines should be parallel with this center line. Please check to make sure that they are. If they're crooked like this, it's not going to look right. They have to be straight up and down. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is we need to get the pattern from here over to here. So you're going to take a scrap piece of paper, put it along the top, and then make a mark where each of your bricks are. The next thing is you're going to flip this over, hold it up here, and then make a mark where each of your lines are. Then you know that this top row matches this top row. And then make your lines that are straight up and down. Okay, the next step is continuing these lines down. So you're going to take your ruler, set it on your first line, and this should be vertical and should be parallel to the side of your paper and parallel to your center line. And you're going to make a line in every other row. Don't do it in every row. I think that's a little crooked. I'll fix that in a little bit. Okay, make sure your ruler is straight up and down, and then do it with the next line. Make sure your ruler is straight up and down. Do that one. And then you're going to keep going until you have the right side done and the left side done. Okay, now I'm done with my bricks on the right side and my left side, the first set of rows. And I also fixed this line right here because it was not parallel with the center line. Make sure your lines are all parallel with your center line. Now I'm going to show you how to do the second set of rows. You are going to make a line that goes straight up and down, just like we did in the beginning, in between the rows that are on top. Again, make sure that they're parallel with your center line and the side of your paper. So now I have the right side done. I'm going to do the left side. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to set my ruler on that line, make sure my ruler is parallel with the side of the paper and the center line, and then make a mark every other row. Alright, so once you're done with that, you are done with the bricks on that level. If you'd like to do bricks on the second story, it's going to be the exact same directions. A lot of the time, since it is further away, people will choose to make the bricks slightly smaller or smaller as they go up.